Hello everyone. In this video, let's take a look at how Windows 11 has evolved over the past year and how it's likely to look by its official release in the second half of 2025, specifically with the 25H2 update. And yeah, this video covers new features currently in Insider Build's dev and canary channels, so these changes will only make it to the stable release after some time. Let's start with the most noticeable change, the revamped Start menu. Now it's essentially a single page featuring your pinned apps, the recommended section and something new, a unified All Apps section. These All Apps come on three layouts: categorized, grid and list. While the grid and list views are self-explanatory, the categories are generated automatically, with apps sorted into them without user input. Unfortunately, you can't manually create or edit these categories, which is a bit of a letdown. Honestly, this feels very similar to iOS app library, both in functionality and visual design, with nearly identical implementation. Probably the biggest and most useful change for many users is that you can now finally disable the recommended apps section in the Start menu completely. That said, the process isn't exactly intuitive. You'll have to toggle off multiple settings in the Start menu options. Still, it's great that Microsoft at least gives us some way to turn it off. Another great improvement is that the Start menu settings now let you display all pinned apps at once, no matter how many rows there are. That said, it would have been even more convenient if there were an option to auto-pin all applications. Personally, I find these automatic categories rather inconvenient. While the other app library layouts, grid and list, don't look particularly great in the Start menu either. By the way, Microsoft actually showed us some concept ideas for how the Start menu could be redesigned. Thankfully, those never made it to the final release. Sure, they might look cool visually, but in my opinion, they're completely unusable. Way too much clutter. It's also odd that they still haven't added the option to embed widgets directly into the Start menu. I think a lot of users would find it handy to quickly check things like the weather or other info right in the Start menu without having to open that dedicated widgets panel, which, let's be honest, is mostly filled with useless bloatware and generally pointless widgets, at least the majority of them. Speaking of which, we'll touch on that panel a bit more later in the video. I think we've covered everything about the Start menu now. While it's somewhat improved, in my opinion it's still worse than what we had in Windows 10. Now let's move on to some less noticeable and frankly less useful changes, though we haven't even gotten to the AI features yet. The lock screen widgets are now customizable. You can change their position and add new ones. This might seem like a nice addition, but the same old problems remain. There are very few widgets available, most of them are useless, and third-party developers don't seem particularly eager to create new ones. The widgets panel itself has also been updated. It now consists of two separate pages. One looks similar to the old version, while the second page shows just the widgets themselves. No newsfeed or web clutter. Again, it's kind of an improvement, but the design still looks half-baked to me. And let's be honest, who actually needs these widgets in either the old or new format? As long as there are so few of them, and as long as you have to open a separate panel full of junk just to see them, they're made completely useless in my opinion. I'm not even sure if this is worth mentioning, but you are now able to re-enable a large clock display in the taskbar calendar, exactly like it was in Windows 10. For some reason, Microsoft removed this in Windows 11. Taskbar icons can now be made smaller, but the core issue remains: you still can't resize the taskbar itself. Restoring this basic functionality should be trivial, and yes, I mean restore because it existed in Windows 10. Sure, this isn't technically the same taskbar code as in Windows 10, and Microsoft rebuilt it from scratch, but then they should have at least included fundamental features that should have been there by default. And let's not forget, 4 years post-launch, we still can't freely reposition the taskbar, a feature that's existed since Windows 95, if I'm not mistaken. If this isn't regression, what is it? I won't be able to personally demonstrate some of the remaining changes in this video, partly because they're still being rolled out selectively, and partly because they're too minor to showcase. One such example, The latest version of Notepad, again not for everyone yet, now supports Markdown, which are text formatting features like bold text, headers, and so on. We'll circle back to Notepad later, but for now I'll mention that a new advanced page has been added to the Settings app. It mostly just relocates some existing settings. Nothing particularly noteworthy here. The snipping tool, you know, the screenshot utility, got a new eyedropper feature for copying color codes from your screen. Wow, groundbreaking. They've also added an emoji picker panel to the taskbar. To be fair, this already existed, you just had to use a keyboard shortcut before, but now you can open it directly from the taskbar. The BSOD, that famous blue screen of death, now looks downright boring. It's black, or green for insiders. Actually, I think they changed these a while ago, but now they've even removed the sad face emoticon. That's pretty much it for meaningful updates. Everything else is just endless, useless AI features. I'll briefly touch on them, though I can't demonstrate them myself. But here's the kicker. To actually use all these AI features, you'll need to write this down. First, buy a Copilot Plus PC, meaning severely limiting your hardware options. Second, purchase Windows, around $140 if you buy it officially from Microsoft. And here's the cherry on top. Subscribe to Microsoft 365 or Copilot Pro. That's another $100 per year. If you want features like Copilot integration in Notepad, which can now write or edit text for you. Want AI image generation in Paint? Pay up. Want to generate stickers in Paint? Super useful, I know. Better buy that new PC first. As for features that don't require a subscription, as far as I can tell, they've added smart search powered by neural networks in settings, system-wide AI-powered search, some AI actions in context menus, like blur photo background in the Photos app, for example. But of course, for even these basic features, you'll still need a Copilot Plus PC. The only genuinely useful AI implementation is a text recognition and snipping tool, which now works without needing to take a screenshot first. And wow, no new hardware or subscription required. Who would have thought? And finally, you can now voluntarily opt into being listened to 24/7 by enabling the Hey Copilot feature, their version of OK Google. Sure, there's nothing to worry about here, but given Microsoft's, let's say, questionable track record with new feature security, I'm sure this will raise plenty of doubts. Oh, and for some reason this only works in English, at least for now, I don't know why. That's it. After scouring the entire internet, this is literally everything noteworthy happening with Windows 11 recently. My takeaways. The Start menu update is decent, though could have been better. Quick emoji panel access from the taskbar is kinda nice. Snipping tools text recognition is actually useful. Beyond that, nothing truly impactful, unfortunately. Microsoft remains obsessed with pushing half-baked AI features instead of improving core functionality for actual users. Because apparently we all dream of buying specific overpriced hardware just to access mostly useless innovations. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, that's really important for me. Thanks and bye bye.